Sa LGBTQ no Trumu no for as smuggled they ko wura teachers textbooks mu teachers copy book na teacher for the kire mofra na de no wo de akoshim.
It's really appalling, it's really disappointing that a very dangerous introduction has been smuggled into our schools. The introduction of LGBTQ elements, the education of sexuality related to LGBTQ promotion, and it didn't find expression in no main teaching and learning material than teacher manual.
Mema etiefoni ahwefo nyina kwa ba de Bakoda Media Activities abiri media ne kachiri eja yodi asempa dwumadi ya tundi chichim. Enti matena gwamu na mede nsem chirimu na ba besom etiefoni mahwefo sene ne da no. Message indeed kan roba so na wa subscribe to the Bakoda Media TV na dwumadi kosono wala ka share na foforo so anya bi etie. Wase wada sore na se yanti asem foforo a wochi. Ene asembia eyihu pa na abeto Ghana NaCCA na wiaso gina mfikire ho na tie nsem ni nkyiremu MP for Ascent South MP Reverend Ntifojo, former Deputy Minister of Education and ranking member our defense our parliament na ebekaya LGBTQ merima aware ne mmea aware insema wo freno gay ni ekeka ho lesbianism sorry adodan kwa kufu ado penso den mrana adodan kwa omampanyini na enipa bi tse Sam George Sam Dete George communication minister mprin ene wo kaka ho so aso akufu ado din saa sai ye Christopher na Ghana Christopher man ekremofo so ha ye nenam ogunsan so e ha na saa kuaku nyina wonchi saa suban no manfo mpuku tu se na ma Sodom Gomora Nyankopon di uja ekohye won enti edna akwakoye achiwade fi ahyase abisi nne enti ene wo boado tankwa akufuado apempem dawuru saa so nsan ho asem ansi ena ofie guaso a omaperi John na Mahama ene na pamfo wo suade no wo nkon ho no wo bai ne kuruma yidin na te George so asade no wono kon ho de gu adodan kwa kufu ado animu asene ne why din Christian Council for monso my din Catholic Bishop Conference for mekai sambre no mo kan ho asem enam so monso my din na ebebuagu mu nyina matifi you civil society organizations CSOs, traditional believers, and Muslim leaders. Muna be a thing. Impring as some bakura, a yamishika sekurana say. Sa LGBTQ, no, Trumu no. And is for as smuggled, they ko teachers textbooks mu. Teachers copy book na, teacher for the children of Ranadeno, what they akoshim. Say teacher for the children of Frano. So, sa gender numpo de ne ope na oye wo hu wiase ne ope na oye wo hu wiase na no wo mfom mra bia ye oye obia na pese oye hu obenima obetimi aye oye obenima na pese odan obia obetimi aye eno na waso smuggled ahye school krata de suam teacher foro enfankyere school no ade na eyade a sa asemu yi ekoma Catholic Bishops Conference semuti Bakoda Media TV a asabi edamosre so na esomunso adan oja ya so report mu na somu na modernam Christian Council for monso esomu CSOs monso esomu Muslim leaders mu nyina mo kan ho asem esomu traditional believers na nanu amugunsa a musimu chinu enne ne asini wohwemfoni na edaso na omampanyini on education minister krata ne bi ne kuta wan wo hwe no wo de kire no nti nempiri teacher fu kuta wo de be kire mo frade e wo school mu mom yenko ne yenko nkuti honorable Reverend Intifojo oyo osofo nti se asem de na chiwa de papa se na Christopher musemu chi no nti ona waje agine mpa dendenden mum yenko nkuti ona poro adom kire di hu nkomo yenko ti se ne ansem no esikoe ya ba betua so.
Reverend Intifojo is unhappy about a document that has just popped up by the Ministry of Education. There's a lot of conversation on it on social media. Reverend, what document is it and what are you unhappy about?
Yeah, good evening, Paul. I'm really excited to be here on your show, and a good evening to our cherished viewers. It's really appalling, it's really disappointing that a very dangerous introduction has been smuggled into our schools. The introduction of LGBTQ elements, the education of sexuality related to LGBTQ promotion, and it didn't find expression in no main teaching and learning material than teacher manual. You know, so this teacher manual in physical education and health, the elective one, is the guide, the teaching guide, is the pedagogical guide, is what tells the teacher how and what you must teach your learners and your students. It also provides the framework of fundamental definitions and concepts within the subject and what you have to teach them. And when we do this, we break them in various weeks. So every week, there's what you have to teach them. And rather sadly, the physical education and health elective for senior high schools in my hand, when you turn to page 3, the week 1 schedule, NDC have managed to smuggle in LGBT elements and now telling teachers that, for instance, gender identity, which in our constitution, in our 1992 Republican Constitution, the 4th Republican Constitution, and our laws, fundamental laws, recognize the binary nature of gender, being male and female assigned at birth. Now, here the definition they are asking the teachers to teach them. It refers to a person's deeply felt internal experience of gender, which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth. So right at the beginning, you are confusing these young ones between the ages of 13 to 19, most vulnerable group of people who oftentimes become the victims. The age group studies have indicated become victims of this LGBT madness and confusion. You are further confusing them and promoting to them and letting them understand, because these are things you would want them to write back at you.
When did this document come?
This was produced in 2025 by the Ministry of Education. 2025.
Under the minister,
under this current government, NDC government. And these were recently distributed to schools. And these teachers have received them. And Paul, week 1 is already gone. So these teachers have already taught these students these strange, bizarre concepts. They have also further told them that sexual rights, a whole lot of definitions, the sexual rights definitions, and they are telling them that you can do anything as you feel, and you will be protected. There's no discrimination. I mean, very bizarre. And we are asking them, where did they get this concept from? Because you cannot be teaching students something that is not approved in the curriculum. And you cannot be smuggling in foreign and alien, diabolic, vile, evil concepts and introduce them to our schools, print them with taxpayers' money, distribute them. One NaCCA, under the Ministry of Education, is the body mandated to ensure that strange and unapproved contents don't get into our schools.
And this is a product of NaCCA?
This is a product of NaCCA. This is a product of NaCCA. You can see the front page is a NaCCA approved. And you see, the framework of approval, I have spent 4 years at the Ministry of Education as Deputy Minister. And we understand how this curriculum development and its implementation works. Any concept that has to be taught must first be developed into the curriculum. And when you develop the curriculum, you now have to produce teaching and learning material, teacher guide, teacher manual, and textbooks, supplementary books as well. And any material that must arise from the curriculum must be approved by NaCCA to ensure that it aligns with the framework provided within the curriculum. So if you come in to issue we developed up to year 1 manual before we left office. So when NDC came into power, 2025, January, they started the development of the year 2 manual. And sometime around June, July last year, they were able to finish it, and then they printed it. The question is, which minister gave the approval? Who checked it? And which agency, which officer, the Director General of NaCCA, what job did he do in checking that all the textbooks and all the teacher manuals that have been printed and being authorized and distributed to schools meet the standards? So this is a deliberate attempt by government. LGBT agenda is not a low-level implementation. It's not a low-level agenda. It is a high-level agenda. And I am surprised that at a time when President Trump has even given a different dimension into how countries must even view LGBT matters, and even in his own country clamping down on the LGBT, he has further issued a foreign policy directive to all his envoys, all his ambassadors in various countries, that how they must even relate to other countries where they have been assigned, and that on basis where some countries even try to promote LGBT, it would provide basis for sanctions to be applied by the United States of America. So that should have been good news for President Mahama. This is a season where he should even be bold to preserve our conservative values. This is not a time that he should be introducing LGBT into our textbooks, into our schools. So the dangerous thing is that the parent who is sleeping because he knows that they've sent their wards to SHS, public schools, and they know even a private school textbook must be approved by NaCCA if it's a GS curriculum, and knows that, well, free SHS, NaCCA is the Ministry of Education is there, they have the safeguards, they will ensure only approved content gets there, is sleeping, and their child is consuming this material. Teachers are being directed that this is the definitions that you must teach to promote LGBT, to promote transgender, to promote any absurd feelings that are not authorized by our constitution and recognized by our beliefs. And this dangerous introduction, as we speak, the president has not spoken about it. And recall that for the past 1 year, we introduced human sexual rights and family values bill again to Parliament. When it even passed the gazetting and found expression in the order paper, the next day there was an order from Jubilee House instructing the Speaker and the Majority Leader, Mahama, to remove it. Indeed, they removed it the next day.
Now, say that again. The bill was announced.
The bill was listed on the order paper.
To start the process.
To start to be laid for first reading. And consequential referral to the committees to invite the sponsors for consideration. When it appeared, we couldn't take it that day. So we thought that perhaps we have many items on the order paper, and as the practice of the House is, the next day we will have the opportunity to take it. The next day we came, and it did not even find expression. It has been deleted. It had been Nicodemously deleted from the order paper. When we raised questions, they said, Honorable Mahama, the Majority Leader, blamed it on Speaker. The Speaker said he knew nothing about the bill being advertised. So we had to wait for Speaker to come the following week to give his ruling. Speaker gave his ruling that there's nothing wrong with the bill and that it must come back. To date, anytime we had raised it on the floor of Parliament several times, every week on week, when we meet our business committee, when we meet to approve business statements, we raise it, they keep pushing it away. They are even afraid to list it on the order paper.
Has Sam George been also raising it?
He has not raised anything. And Paul, what they intend to do is that until they exit IMF, they will not list it. They don't even want us to discuss the bill until they exit IMF.
What does that have a relationship between exiting IMF
because
at the middle of this year?
Because the indications they are giving is that even discussing these matters, because when the president made pronouncement that he was going to introduce his government-sponsored bill related to this matter to cure the mischiefs that stakeholders and overwhelming 93% of Ghanaians want to cure, the kind of reactions he got. Now, when was the last time you heard the president, states his commitment that he's going to state-sponsor a bill like this? Now he zipped. He never mentioned it again. And even the one that was already had been passed in Parliament but faced controversies and had been agreed upon by President Mahama that when he comes to power, when he was in opposition that the first thing he would do is to sign it into bill. Now he comes to power and then he's even preventing it from being listed on the order paper. That is the deception of NDC.
Honorable Intifojo, Asin South MP, and then former Deputy Minister for Education, and then ranking member on defense. Ono no de asami ababeto. Enti moye concerns. Musu yechi wado wo mem ha. Se de mesia bobo mondino Catholic Bishop Conference, Christian Council, CSOs, Muslim Health Traditional Believers. And there, Momano ma woku school no. Wada bechere wo ade wo school. Enti nana mu wo ho asem bia. Mon sorry na monka. Anya sa de a bisi ebua ebebuagu mu nyina amatifi, especially Catholic Bishop Conference mo boss e dawri den adoda kwa kufu ado pencil enne edam sere so. Enti mo hu se na besi aka no. Ye twen ye gina fikyire ho ye tie se ne amo bekasa fi sa mmeri kwai. Nkyiremu a ye de amamu asabi enye ahintasem. Teacher kutakuta krata ni bia nwoma ni bia wo de ba be kire mofra na de. Enti mo ma no ko school ro ba o mu misa won. Mo behu se eye no kwara na se nye no kware. Na mumbo chimpo na mo hwese sa nwani ebi wo system ni mu na se ni system ni mu eye LGBTQ trumu enne e wo yen school ofre ne textbooks mu a teacher for ba be kire emofra de eye musu kase Mahama no so chiri no and this for na wo so chiri no enne wo chiri emim nso wo di emim enne da ho no adanka kufu ado nyankopon nhira wo se unya adwon kese power asem no ho nenso wode tag wa bo din say udin LGBTQ enkankan Samuel Nate George communication minister nessa wonte ya me say enne e wo teachers textbooks mu a wo ba be kira de e wo school enti nne na sore ne hu say ne wo kan mmiri bi twam no wo da so gina ho ayesa de a now we describe all of you as gays. Man timi anka hwede a ene na munyina moboa saa trumu no. Koda Media TV so na wotie media ne ka kire agya yodi asem padwumadi ehensem kiremu ena media besom.